Well, we're back in the shop again this week. I've got the tank hanging up there doing a little bit of repairs around where that paint was peeled off. So hopefully I can just easily paint over that. I hope. Anyway, we'll see. See how that comes out. Meanwhile, while that paint's drying, I decided to look after that sticky brake. You see I've got a little wooden plug in the brake line there. You can use a pencil for that, but they tend to break off up in there. You can push the broken pieces out with the master cylinder, of course, but I wouldn't really recommend using a pencil. That's just a little piece of wood that I've stuck up in there. Anyway, just loosen up these two bolts right here and here. And I'm going to take that caliper off of there. Take the piston out and clean up the seal. Hopefully I can reuse the seal, otherwise I'll have to order one from the shop up the road. They don't have any on the CB750 site, so yeah, anyway, I'll have a look at it, see if I can just clean it up and reuse it. If not, well, I'll get a new one. So there, I've got that caliper removed. I thought I'd show you what I'm finding before I get too carried away with cleaning it up. There's the old brake pad off the non-active side. This is the floating side that gets adjusted on that adjustable mount right there. There's a whole different procedure for setting those up, and you should follow that every once in a while just to make sure the inside head on your front brake is properly adjusted. Anyway, that's something you can look in the book and read up on how to do that. But yeah, a bunch of water got in here and it caused a bunch of rust and nasty old corrosion. There's the other pad. You can see where it was rusted up. I've already cleaned that up a bit. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of that white crusty stuff that comes from wet aluminum. And of course, the brown stuff is just good old rust that came off the brake pads. But anyway, I'm going to keep on cleaning that up, and then I want to remove that square seal right there. It's just a square O-ring, and usually if there's this much of that white crud here around the brake pad itself, there's going to be a bunch of white crud under that seal, and that usually is what causes the problem where the brakes don't release anymore. So anyway, I'm going to pull that out of there, clean all this up, and I'll show you what I find when I do that. Well, there it is back together. I've got the caliper bolts, the fitting tightened up, bled the brake. I did find a couple of the little bolts that hold the fender and the bracket in place were backed off for some reason. But anyway, I've got a good firm brake there now, and it bled quite easily. These always do bleed easily, these little single caliper Hondas. But yeah, and I noticed something. I've been beating my head over the how long ago it was since I did this. This MVI was due to come for renewal on the what is that? 2012. Yeah. So that means that the bike was probably on the road for 5 or 6 years before that. So I'm probably right in saying it was 18 or 20 years ago. But anyway, there doesn't seem to be any leaks around that caliper yet. It's nice and dry under there. So I will be keeping a very, very, very close watch on that until I'm sure that it's not leaking. And like I said, if it is, I will definitely be putting a new seal in there because it will obviously need it. But so far, so good. Just keep my fingers crossed on that one. Anyway, back to the tank, I guess. It's time to do a little bit of wet sanding on the primer where I've used high build primer to fill in the areas where I need to feather that paint out. So, and believe it or not, it's July and I have the furnace on in the garage. It's pouring rain out there, so it's very damp, so that's why I put the furnace on. Anyway, I'll carry on with this. And there's nothing special about this. Like I say, I'm just going to put a coat of black paint on it and then some clear coat after that. So I'll carry on with something else on this little project until it's done. Well, it's about 24 hours later. That brake is still nice and dry, so I'm starting to feel confident that that seal is holding. Plus, I haven't lost any immediate action off that brake. Didn't have to pump it up or anything, so I'm pretty sure that that's going to be okay. Like I said, I'll continue to keep an eye on it. And it's nice and warm out here in the shop this morning, in spite of the damp, rainy weather, because I went and left the furnace on last night. Anyway, couldn't been on too often because it was warm anyway. But yeah, it's nice and cozy out here. Helps keep things dry too. But over here, I have decided to remove the Kickstarter and have a little look at it because it's extremely floppy in here. I don't know. Yeah, you should be able to see that. It's really, really floppy. Now the locating, what would you call it, ball and plunger affair that keep that in position, or are supposed to keep it in, are still in there, but it's so floppy that I just want to get this apart and see if there's anything I can do to address that wear in here or on the pin that goes through it there, to try and address that floppiness, try to give a little better feel to that Kickstarter. I did put some power to the starter motor on it. I don't know if it's the battery or the motor itself, but when I get a better battery in, I did order one up at the shop there yesterday, so that'll be in a few days. And I just want to know if that starter would actually work, but I believe, if memory serves me right, that when we were doing this bike up, Holly didn't want the electric starter. She wanted it to be just a kickstart bike. So anyway, I'm rambling, so let me get at this. I'll take the snap ring off the bottom here, and that should just pull out. And of course, I'll catch that little ball and spring as that's coming out of there. There's another way of removing that ball and spring there, just by removing that screw. So anyway, I think I'll just pull the whole affair out of there. But yeah, I want to have a look at that, see if I can do anything about it. Well, let me show you what I've found here. I'll just set this in here first and just show you how much it flops around. There's a lot of movement there. When I mic these up, you might even be able to see that. If I hold it like this, you can see quite a bit of wear right here and right up in here on that kick lever part. Plus, when I measure these up here, these have gone oval shaped in this direction for some reason, by about 15 thousandths of an inch. So I could fill them in with the MIG welder in the necessary places and just use a Dremel to clean them out afterwards. And here as well. Or I could use my my oxyacetylene gear. The only trouble with using that is it's going to remove any chrome here because there's so much heat going to be applied to it. So maybe I'll check out the old MIG first, see if I can build up these areas in here and on here. Anyway, that'll be the next thing to do. Right, well, I think I got that looked after. Got that mounted firmly in the vise. Just a very, very slight movement on the Kickstarter. You got to have some, or it just won't stay put, right? But anyway, it's all lubed up. Let me just get that back out of the vise and see where I've built up that shaft and file it back down again. So yeah, that's a whole lot of free play taken up in that, and of course the ball is back in there with the spring that keeps it in place. So I'm going to put that back on the bike I think we'll have a good Kickstarter on it now instead of a flippy floppy one. Yeah, just check that out. Look, that's a whole lot firmer than it was before. Try to push it over with my hand. Good compression on this little booger. Anyway, Kickstarter is not loose and floppy anymore, not jiggling around all over the place. It stays put. And I've got the foot peg nuts tightened up again. All I did was loosen that big long bolt up in there that holds the foot pegs, just to drop that peg out of the way enough to pull that off the shaft. But yeah, it's amazing what you can do with a little bit of weld and a Dremel tool and a file and a little bit of time. So I'm really pleased with that. Yabba dabba doo. I know this has nothing to do with that 360 bobber, but look what just showed up in the mail. It's pouring rain out. The box is soaked, but it didn't hurt what was inside. If it did, well, it must be made of sugar or something. But anyway, I got a nice brand new rim for a very good price. Originally came from Central Wheel. Anyway, yeah, guess what that's for? That's going on that Norton hub that I showed you in the last video. So all I'm waiting for now is spokes, and they're supposed to arrive today as well. Okay, well, you can see I've been doing a little bit of fiddling around with handlebars here. I took the drag bars that Joe had on it off because I don't know if you can see that on the screen or not, but those bars are not straight. This bar here is a lot straighter than that bar. See, it drops down a lot more on this side. That probably happened when you dropped the bike, that one spring there. But anyway, it's twisted this way too. I don't know if the camera can pick that up or not, but this way it's fairly straight when you look at it, and this way it goes wow like that. Anyway, no good. I'll save the metal for parts. I had a pair of buckhorns. I think these are probably from a Yamaha. Anyway, I tried them on the bike, but they're just too high and too pulled back. There wasn't enough room to get that brake hose on there. And anyway, these kind of bars, I mean, they're not my cup of tea. Some people like them. A good friend of mine who I probably got these from, who used to love putting buckhorn bars on British bikes. He said they were easier on his back and his neck. And he's probably right about that. Anyway, these bars here came with a bunch of Norton parts that were gifted to me a few weeks back, and they're not perfect, but they're in pretty darn good shape. Anyway, I fitted them up on the bike and nipped a couple inches off each end of the handlebars, and anyway, everything fits. So we were talking about getting a little bit higher bars on it. I think that's what Holly wanted, but anyway, I think these suit the bike a little better, and they ought to suit her a little better, and they're not crooked. So anyway, that's it for that little job. I'm running out of other stuff to do, and I'm kind of avoiding having to take the front forks off, but I think that'll be the next job, to get those forks off and do those seals, because they are bad. Well, there you go. I got sidetracked again. This is not part of the bobber project. This is for a future Norton project. I got the rim and I got the spokes in today, and I couldn't resist the opportunity to just lace it up, put it together. So anyway, it's all laced up, and all I got to do now is true it. So I got me a real pretty wheel for the Norton that I'll be building this fall. Well, there's been a few little things I've done since the last clip here. Battery came in this morning. I've stuck that in place. Got a big zip tie across the top to keep it from falling out, but I am going to have to make that little cover up that's missing off of the side there to hold the battery in. I don't know what happened to the old one that was on there, but I'll just make up a new one, put some new screws in it. That way, you know, the battery will stay in place. Plus, it kind of gives it a little more finished look covering that up. What else? Let me think now. I'm not going to put the air filters on until after I've ridden it, done a bit of tuning on those carburetors, because that's just something else I have to take off. And if they're not there in the first place, well, then I don't have to worry about taking them off. So I have turned the bike around on the lift. As you can see, it's facing toward the door now, and that means I'm getting ready to finally do those seals up in those front forks. So that'll be something for the next video. For this one here, I'm going to cut it off for now, and I'll do the forks on a separate video. So thanks for watching. Be good to each other, and we'll be back with the forks on the next one.